What is this, Brandon?
Hey,
How come you never told us you had this ability?
maybe you guys
I like
never
when you-
noticed me.
I like when you
Maybe you
asked
just
the
never
dude's
noticed
wife
me.
if she was the B-Dubs waitress. That was good.
I didn't
Ladies and
realize we
gentlemen,
started. I didn't realize the show had started.
I did it randomly. I do it sneakily.
That was sneaky.
welcome back to another
good cold open.
elite episode of Clickbait Sports. The playoffs are nigh. But before we get into any football action, we must pause as we think about our brothers and sisters over in California and LA right now getting bodied by these fires that are happening. Because of this, all of us have set up our streams to be a fundraiser for today. So all donations today are going to be going to the relief to the victims of the fires. And just know we are thinking about all of you and have all of you in our thoughts and prayers. With that being said, we are going to get to some football, and there is a lot of football to get to today. We have the playoffs. And I don't just mean NFL. We even have the college football playoffs happening tonight. But before we start there, let's start with the eliminated teams from the playoffs. It's going to be me, and it's going to be 5 points vids. 5 instant reaction to getting number 3 overall pick. Are you happy? Are you sad? Walk me through your thought process right now.
It's kind of like the worst place that you could be, right? Like the Titans are going to obviously take Sanders or Ward. The Raiders are going to take Sanders or Ward. And that leaves you without a quarterback. And they're going to probably start next year with either Tim Boyle or Drew Lock or Tommy Cutlets as the quarterback. And they're going to tank again. Now, probably the smart thing to do would be to take Travis Hunter, insert him as a cornerback. Forget all that wide receiver madness. You need him more on defense. Or you just use him. You use him as a two. You Shohei Ohtani it up. But it doesn't solve the quarterback problem unless they are going to just intentionally tank for Arch Manning, which I would happily do. But like another year of suffering. Another year of suffering is tough. And they bring back, unfortunately, I said they were going to bring back Dable and Shane, hoping that maybe they were going to get rid of maybe one of them, and they bring them both back. So, yeah.
I'm going to be on this train right now, 5. And I know you're going to be so happy when I say this. Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson is a stopgap. We're going to trade him throughout every single team. He's going for the Broncos, to me, to you, and then he's going to be a Packer for a year as a backup, Jordan Love, and then he's going to finish up with the Cowboys as a cut and training camp. Let's get it.
I'd rather let Brandon punch me in the balls. Like, honestly, that is not, I do not want Russell. I'd rather have the hope of a new guy coming. We need line help. We need defense. Oh my God. Feet is there.
Someone donated $500.
I got
to see your
50
feet.
and a 50. We bring
To
out
see your feet.
Don't.
My God.
People love
that
the
is
feet
a weird
pics, man.
fetish.
I mean, I thought Jeebus was a weird one, but
I'll show my butt
feet
on stream.
Hey, use washing.
You do that for $5, 5. Don't give me that.
My question to you, though, 5, is I thought you might be happier with the Patriots winning their game, because now at least you can get one of these 3. There's no like consolation here. You're still feeling pretty dejected.
I mean, it would have been worse if we blew it and won the game and the like, I was thankful that the Patriots lost. We got the number 3 overall pick, but it still puts us in a terrible position. Now, maybe it ends up being worse that if we end up with the number 1 and they draft Cam Ward and he ends up being a bust, but you want more options. What scares me is if they don't take the BPA and they go and reach for a guy like, what's the Georgia quarterback's name?
Carson Beck. He's going to the
Carson
transfer
Beck.
portal. He's not going to college.
Oh, yeah. He saw that his ceiling was Daniel Jones. Or if they reach for, if Aller declares, I don't know, like he's not
Aller would
ready.
probably be top 5. I'm going to be honest here. Because Ward and Shador aren't guaranteed either. This is a weak quarterback class.
Yeah, I think Cam Ward is the best option, but like, I don't know.
He's going to need time.
I think
I just don't want to see another reach.
Regardless of whoever is selected, I still think the Giants have a lot ahead of them. They're going to struggle next year. It doesn't matter who's coming into that franchise. 2 to 3 years away, minimum, from seeing a winning season. Now, we transition to the Dallas Cowboys, who had one of their worst seasons in franchise history recently. For me,
and I got 100, another 150 from Jordan. Thanks.
I'm with Micah Parsons on this. The Dallas Cowboys will win the Super Bowl next season because Jerry Jones has seen the sit back and do nothing method does not work. He's starring in TV shows and not focusing on his football team, and we see now what that brings. I think we're going to have a commitment to the running game. I do think we will be favorites to draft Ashton Genty at 12. And I think our commitment to the running game is going to allow Dak to excel next season. We've seen what teams with top running backs can do. Let's go get our guy and have a 1-2 punch with Rico Dowdle. Let's get another playmaker for Dak and a receiver, maybe in a second or third round. Shore up the defense and offensive line. We're in there. Back like we never left.
How are you going to replace Zach Martin?
That's the thing, though. If you look at the O-line, Zach Martin has already been replaced. Brock Hoffman has been playing admirably. And if you look at the stats with Brock Hoffman, he's been playing great. What we need is Tyler Guyton to turn the corner. That's really what we need, because currently he's one of the lowest graded picks, first-round picks, really, if you look at the PFF stats. Marshawn Nealon as well, defensive end. We need them to just turn the corner, and we'll be okay. I'm the opposite of 5. I'm more optimistic. I'm thinking this is like that same year. You remember when the Cowboys sucked and then we drafted Zeke? That's how I'm looking at this season. Yes,
so I heard that the Cowboys blocked the Bears from interviewing Mike McCarthy. Really rare to see the Cowboys stop anyone in January.
Yeah, I've also seen that meme in 1,000. Listen, if there's a Cowboys meme, I have seen and heard it 700 times before you've said it to me. Just know that. With that being said, we're not making the playoffs this year. There are 3 teams up here who are making the playoffs. We begin with a team I will be rooting for to beat the Philadelphia Eagles. Tom, can you make me happy this weekend? Tell me what needs to happen for the Packers to get this dub.
Yeah, it's a great question. I mean, I think there's a lot of doom and gloom attached to the Packers right now about heading into, because obviously the last 2 games have not gone very well. They lost to the freaking Vikings and they lost to the Bears, which is to say the least. But ultimately, Christian Watson getting hurt sucks. And so he's going to be out. He's probably going to miss a bit of 2025 as well, depending on the severity of that injury. So that really sucks. If the Packers are going to win, we're getting Evan Williams and Quay Walker back, which is really nice. TJ Slayton's going to be back. That's going to help that defense. The Packers have a top 10 run defense, which is not a drill. Like, this never happens. So, I mean, they've had a terrible run defense since I've been a fan, except for 96 when they were top 1. But ultimately, they're going to have to stop Saquon Barkley. The Eagles, I think they have the 29th ranked 29th in passing offense, but they have a crap ton of weapons, right? So if we're able to somehow contain Saquon and force Jalen Hurts to beat us, we still might lose. I mean, because Jalen Hurts, I think, is a very capable quarterback, but ultimately I think it's going to be that controlling the clock and time possession, and then being able to run the ball with Josh Jacobs. We have a top 10 running game this year too, which has been really, really nice. I imagine Josh Jacobs is going to get the ball about 30 times, and it's not easy to run against the Eagles. I think they're 10 in run defense, but they have the best passing defense in the league. So it's like, pick your poison. Which one do you want? So I think it's going to be a matter of controlling the clock. I think it's going to be trying to limit Saquon Barkley and pray you get out of there with a win.
I will be praying. I will definitely be praying. With that being said,
Jalen Hurts. I'm sorry, Jalen Hurts is a major problem. I don't really care what happens during a game. I need Jalen Hurts to throw for 2 touchdowns. Thank you.
Okay.
Just
Okay.
just do
Speaking
that
of
for me.
Jalen Hurts, he has been a bit of an enigma recently with his concussion and the concussion protocol that he's been going through. Have you guys been monitoring that situation? Do you expect him to play, Tom?
Yeah, I mean, again, I think it's a lot of media smoke and mirrors also. That's just being done by the team. Love, he was a full participant in practice today. He was a limited participant yesterday. He was throwing. But with Jalen Hurts, there was the story earlier this week that he didn't clear concussion protocol. The only reason he didn't is because they didn't practice, so he couldn't have cleared concussion protocol. So then he was practicing yesterday. So yeah, I don't think there's a doubt that he's going to be playing.
Oh, that sounds like clickbait.
And do you expect?
Crazy. No.
Here's the thing, though. He hasn't played in a while. Are we going to expect the Jalen Hurts that we know and love, or is this going to be a playoff?
Well, Scooter, I know how much you love Jalen Hurts, so I appreciate you finally admitting it. But in terms of, I think that's the way that you're going to beat the Eagles, though. Like, that's what I was saying. Because Saquon, right? He's going to do what he's going to do. And the Packers are going to need their run stoppers. I mean, thankfully, Edgerrin Cooper wasn't a factor week 1. He's a factor now, and he has been playing phenomenally well. Getting Quay Walker back, he was playing well before his injury as well. So we're able to shore up that secondary. I'm feeling okay.
What's the weather looking like on
It's probably
Sunday?
gonna be cold. I mean, it's just talking from the East Coast here, bro. It is windy as hell. And it's cold.
Yeah.
It's been cold. Like around here, it's been like low 20s, high teens. So it'll probably be the same. Like, fortunate thing is you're not Miami, so you are used to playing in the cold.
It'll probably be around like freezing, so around like 32. It's not too bad.
Yeah.
On a side note, I just love cold ass football. It just makes the whole season so much better for that.
Baltimore's gonna be the same way.
Oh, we got a hundo from Jordan Grace.
Speaking of cold
Hell
football,
yeah.
the Denver Broncos are going
Jordan, thank you.
to play at Buffalo. This could be one of the biggest upsets of all time, or this could just be a routine beatdown. Brandon, which way are you leaning on this scale?
I am leaning towards trying to unhack my TikTok right now.
That's fair.
Did that just
Somebody in the
literally
comments-
happen right
Somebody in the
now?
comments said your TikTok has been hacked. I was like, okay, oh shit, let me log in and check. And 100% completely taken over by somebody else.
No
They
two-step?
changed the email, they changed the phone number, and I've been spending the last 15 minutes trying to fix that BS.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Good,
Hey,
good
it's
gonna
luck.
get deleted,
TikTok's
right? I
going
mean,
down with the
yeah.
ship. Yeah,
I
yeah,
tried
yeah.
to delete it, and then since some ass fuck connected it to their phone number, I can't even delete it at the moment. So here
What's
we
their
are.
phone number?
Second Thursday in a row, one of my GD accounts has been hacked by some bullshit. I didn't click on any emails.
Yeah,
or
what'd you
links
do
either.
this time, Brandon?
I don't even log into TikTok. I don't even go into that stupid account. I had Jory posting there for me.
That's probably what happened. Your other guy probably posted something.
Yeah.
Jory, let's
you
all
got-
blame.
What'd you do,
He's
Jory?
at work. He
God.
can't defend himself.
Jory.
This is
Jory.
your second time being hacked.
You're not gonna get any help.
Less than 6
Yeah.
months. What's going on here?
What?
My stock
Broncos?
my stock footage clip account got hacked too. Like everyone's getting hacked.
Dude, it's
Guys, turn on 2-factor. Turn it
I
on.
have that shit on though. I have it.
Yeah, I know. If they
How
want
do
it,
they-
it's like
Sorry,
a
excuse
car thief. If they want your
Yeah.
car, they'll get it.
While Brandon deals with
I'm
this,
good. I'm good. I'm here now.
Okay.
I can't fix it. You're right. I thought I
Okay.
could quick fix it, but anyway.
the real question is, can the Broncos fix this game? That is what we need to figure out. They're going up against the Buffalo Bills, who have something to prove. Josh Allen, potential MVP quarterback this year. Can Bo Nix muster up enough juice to get this win over the Bills? Yes or no, Brandon, and why?
The Broncos can upset the Bills. That is very possible. Do I think they will? No. And that has less to do with the Broncos than it does with who I think this version of the Buffalo Bills are. I think the Bills are just a better football team at the moment. The Broncos have a better defense, but Bills have the better offense. Both offensive lines playing very well, and it really comes down to Josh Allen. He's just playing really good football. He's having an insane season. The Bills' offense is they're functioning at the right level, right? Where Josh Allen's had an amazing season, but he's been able to. He doesn't have to be the hero every game, right? He has moments where we see it, where he shows up and he puts the team on his back, and that's how they win. But you know, I just think it's the Bills' year to get back to the championship game, and I think the Bills are the team that's going to go to the Super Bowl. So that's why I say, you know, the Broncos will lose. That said, Will Keys and I this morning went live right here on YouTube, talk about all the things we like about this team, and I think Bo Nix, he can play well enough to compete in this game. He can make the plays. He can make the throws. Tree's shaking his head because he watched one Bo Nix game, and then
it was more than one.
He watched basically
game.
two
It was
of
like
those
4
worst games. Bo can make the throws, but really it's the defense. They've made opportunities and kept Denver in so many games this year, and we're a team that plays in the cold weather too. We're not scared to go into Buffalo, and who the hell knows? What I said this morning, I'm going to stand by this. If the Broncos win, that's when I get nervous. I'm not nervous for this game. We can lose 60-0, and I'll be like, at least we got there. If we win this game, and then we are tasked with being the first line of defense against the Kansas City Chiefs, now that scares me, Scooter. That scares me.
That's fair. That is fair.
Then there's real pressure.
You brought up a lot of good points. Josh Allen, I want to bring this up to the group. Is Josh Allen the MVP this year, despite Lamar Jackson having superior stats?
I just want to say one thing before we move on to that topic. Brandon, this is what the Bills are going to do to you right there. And you didn't comment on me posting this picture either. And by the way, my head, I don't know what's going on there, but that is not normal. It looks like I have next week's thoughts.
I
Brandon,
retweeted that, right?
Did?
I retweeted that like 2 minutes after you posted.
Oh, I thought you did, but you didn't respond. You didn't say, "Hey, that looks."
Isn't a
Guys, like,
retweet
why
better?
didn't you leave a comment for me, guys? Come on.
Sorry, I didn't know that you retweeted it, but thank you.
Yes.
Oh
Well,
yeah,
you
here's what I
wait.
was gonna say.
No, I'm just that tall.
Adam playing some fucking Lord of the Rings trickery there to make himself look a lot taller than me, and when reality he's just a little taller than me.
That's fair.
A little taller.
Yeah,
A little taller.
Wish I was taller. Wish I was a baller.
Little taller.
Little taller.
My head does look like an egg
Is
there.
Josh Allen a little bit ahead of Lamar Jackson in the MVP race, though? That is the question. Because
That's tough to call.
Here's my take.
Okay.
If you gave it to Lamar Jackson last year, when Dak had clearly superior stats, pull up the stats. Dak is beating Lamar in everything.
Yeah,
I don't
Dak
want
was
to hear
injured
now
half
this
the year,
year.
dude.
I don't want to hear now this year. Then you turn around and say, "Oh, but the stats," because y'all didn't go by the stats when it was Dak. That's all.
Brother, if you want the stats, it
I
should
will
be
say
Joe
this.
Burrow. But the problem is they only have 5 players in the Bengals.
I will say this. It's the MVP, most valuable player. You take Josh Allen off the Bills, they are maybe a 6-win team. 7 at the most.
Yeah, but
The Ravens have Derrick Henry to at least take that pressure off Lamar, and that allowed him to score 40. To me personally, Lamar is the MVP. I'm playing a little devil's advocate. Lamar had the best season I've seen maybe in my life. That was unbelievable what he did. Josh Allen is good and has in any other year, Josh Allen is the MVP, but I'm just saying Lamar his season was absolutely sensational. It's not just the numbers, it's how he did it too. It was amazing.
Tony Romo made the point on air that Lamar already has 2, so they're probably going to give it to Josh Allen. Should past MVPs come into account here, or is that just the human nature? We don't want to see the same person win the award over and over again, so let's just give it to Josh Allen.
this whole conversation and all of us are holding the MVP award to a higher standard than it actually is in real life. And what I mean by that is the journalists that are going to be voting for the MVP like are going to be going with who has the hype, who has the momentum, what the majority is. So I think that us as fans, it's a fun debate. And I think like we should definitely have these conversations because I think you make good arguments for both. You talk about Derrick Henry, with Lamar, but James Cook has had a phenomenal season with the Bills and they actually have a balanced attack. They have the ninth best rushing defense, ninth best rushing offense and ninth best passing offense. So they're literally just perfectly balanced there. So I think that Josh, what he's done with also the level of receivers that he's had is super duper impressive. Lamar Jackson, just to continue to have these back-to-back insane seasons. I'm sitting here and I know this is just like a whatever opinion, but man, like I'm going to be content with whoever gets it. Like Lamar getting it last year, I thought CMC should have gotten it, but it's a quarterback award because we turned it into a quarterback award. So like here, I would not be surprised if Josh Allen gets it just because, yes, you did mention Lamar already got it. He's won a couple already. And that shouldn't play a factor because we should just be looking at it from a season perspective. I think Josh is going to wind up ultimately getting it though.
Any other questions, comments on MVP, Tree, or 5?
I said it should be Burrow, but it's because they didn't make the playoffs. That's why.
I mean,
It
you
is
could
not
MVP. Yeah.
Speaking of Lamar Jackson, though, the Pittsburgh Steelers are tasked with taking down Lamar Jackson in their first game in the playoffs. We go immediately to Tree. Confidence level going into this game. Where are you, Tree? Confident? Or
we need
not
Jesus.
so much?
We need Jesus bad. It's dark hours here in Pittsburgh. The levels of apathy have reached unbelievable proportions. I haven't seen this in a long time. You are hitting your worst stretch of football. You've lost 5 games in a row. You were 10-3. You had a chance of the division. All you had to do was beat Baltimore. You won the AFC North. They couldn't do it. And they not only lost the last 4 games, they've been humiliated. They've been crushed. The last game against Cincy was just agonizing frustration because Cincy was trying to hand you that game, but the offense just fell apart. Russell Wilson's gone back to Nathaniel Hackett levels of Russ. The running game can't do anything because we're down early. Wide receivers, George Pickens is pretty much running himself out of town right now. And then it's just the defense. I mean, your secondary is kind of banged up. And TJ Watt, he's still like he's been neutralized or he's still banged up. It's mostly just hoping that, playoff Lamar comes into play. But, with Derrick Henry and how the Ravens played us last time, this might – I don't know how to gauge it because I can see 2 different, styles of game that are going to happen here. First one is the one I'm expecting. The Ravens are just going to beat the ever-loving piss out of the Pittsburgh Steelers. It's going to be 42-14. I'm going to break down on stream or just be apathetic, and it's just going to turn into just fans just breaking down at the seams. Or there could be the bullshit being real, and the Steelers somehow pull off like a 13-12 win. I could see that too, because Justin Tucker missed an extra point. It's going to be one of those.
What needs to happen for the Steelers to get that 13-12 win?
Well, what needs to happen is Lamar Jackson needs to be neutralized. Derrick Henry needs to be stopped on the ground. There needs to be at least 3 or 4 fumbles by the Ravens or bad turnovers that need to be recovered. And Justin Tucker also needs to miss about 2 or 3 field goals just for getting that there.
So,
and then that's the only.
Them?
Well, here's the problem. It's just like it's the same stuff we've been dealing with. You're dealing with a 5-game losing streak, and you've been crushed by the creme de la creme. That's the problem.
Mm-hmm.
And your offense has just been really just sluggish.
We did talk about momentum last week, and we did say it did factor in to playoff success. So if we're going by momentum, Steelers.
Here's the thing. I've seen this in 2020. That's the problem.
It's not looking good for the Steelers.
But
With that being said,
real quick, Scoots. So I think if we look at the biggest upsets this weekend, I don't think the Steelers upsetting the Ravens would be the most shocking thing.
No.
I think the Broncos upsetting the Bills would be
Exactly.
the biggest upset of the week, just based off of how, just going up against the Bills. The Bills are a really damn good football team right now. And it has nothing, whoever played the Bills, they were going to have a tough time. So I feel like that and just their offense going toe to toe with them. Perna, please, because I feel like we brushed past the Broncos Bills. Please give more insight.
I disagree. Only
I woke him up.
in that I think the Steelers are playing the worst football of any team heading into the
Pretty
playoffs
much.
right now.
Exactly.
Um,
That's what I mean. They're playing bad football.
and the Texans have not been playing good football either. And
But
it's
they have
not
a good
even like me
defense.
like wanting to believe like the Broncos can upset the Bills. But I think if you're looking at the AFC playoff tier, there are you got the Chiefs with the bye, and then you have the Bills and the Ravens as the two teams we think are the most complete. When they play their best football, nobody can really beat them. So I think the way the Steelers are playing right now, even though it's a division rival, like them defeating the Ravens would surprise me the most.
It's not really surprising because the Ravens have always randomly played like crap against the
They
Steelers.
split. I mean, what was it? Last 8 or 9 before they just beat them in the last game?
They finally played up to their potential, and that's one thing I've never understood. The Ravens have been really good at just like randomly beating themselves. It's happened a couple times this year. Happened against the Raiders. It happened against the Browns with Jameis Winston. Happened with the Steelers first game too. The Chiefs, you can technically argue because of the toe in the end zone. As I said, it's just a lot of stuff where like it's hard to trust the Ravens in January because of past experiences. I think they end up winning this game. I don't know how they do against Buffalo or the Chiefs.
Those are going to be some good games subsequently. I don't see the Ravens laying an egg. I mean, that there was that weird one year. Remember when the Titans just absolutely destroyed them? And I was like,
because the Ravens were talking about just smack the whole year. Like they were talking smack before the game.
I'm not gonna lie.
I think they come in humble. Sorry.
If they're no, you're good. If the Ravens wind up winning and we get Bills Ravens next week, oh my,
that's gonna be
that is.
I think the league wants that. I want that. I'd rather have that.
I want to see that football game
Chiefs again.
So
I don't want another 15-13 Chiefs win.
Oh,
Get out of here.
Talk about MVP. Like it would just be I know MVP doesn't count for the playoffs or playoffs don't count for the MVP, but damn, dude, like that is a matchup that I want to see. And then we'll either get an AFC Championship rematch, if the Bills and Ravens go forward, or we'll get Bills Chiefs AFC Championship if the Chiefs move forward too. So
my question is, are we sleeping on the Chiefs? Are a lot of people thinking that this is the year that they just don't make it, or are we like? Because there's been a lot of talk. I mean, they have had some lucky wins. They are 15-2.
They've lost one game with their starters, and the last game that they played, they dominated.
Here's the thing: they played the Steelers like they crushed us. I mean, we are a jobber to the stars, but here's the reality of it: they're getting healthy. They have Hollywood Brown coming back, Pacheco's coming back. Mahomes multiply rested. You have Kelsey resting.
Chris Jones
line resting. Jones is going to be back. They did that without Chris Jones. Just to let you know,
the Chiefs are hitting their stride.
Yeah, the problem is like it's just going to be like more devil voodoo, and Buffalo's probably going to have their heart broken in some.
It is the opposite of what the Steelers are doing. The Chiefs are hitting their stride at the right moment.
They did the same thing last year.
We will see how it plays out.
This is a wild card team that I'm super interested in. I know this might be a hot take, and I said it twice this week. I legit think within the next 2 to 3 years, depending on their draft and free agency, like the Chargers are a Super Bowl team. Like just their
defense is really good.
Their defense is really good. They need another receiver. They need more weapons, right? They get some more weapons on that offense. I think they're going to beat the Texans. We were talking about the Texans before. They got beat up by injuries. Their O-line is not good. So while their backups, they played pretty well. Damian Pierce had a great game. I think if the Chargers win and they go to Kansas City, that's a divisional game. Things could get interesting.
I think the Chargers get their heart broken again.
They do have Zeke as well. Zeke has signed with the Chargers. That is going to help them out immensely.
Backup center.
Since it is the end of the season, that means it's time for some end of the year superlatives. So I got a list here. And I just want you guys to rattle off what you think or who you think should be the winner of these awards. Okay, here we go. We begin with best running back. Who was the best running back this year in the NFL?
Yeah, 5. Who do you think was the best running back in the NFL this year?
Well, I have to say Saquon. I mean, he rushed for 2,016 games. Derrick Henry was a lot of fun to watch. It's more devastating to say Saquon, but yeah, running backs are bad. 2 safeties high. This is how the league adjusted. They set them, they're like, oh, you want to play 2 safeties deep? Competent teams ran the ball, and the Eagles are a competent team, and now Saquon is making my life miserable. He's just
before we say that, I got to give a shout out to Josh Jacobs too. He's had an outstanding year, especially in the red zone.
Hey,
there's some other great running backs too, but it's
James
it's
Cook,
pretty obvious.
another phenomenon.
James Cook,
Gibbs.
J.K. Dobbins, his revival probably going to become
Montgomery and Gibbs should be looked at as one
Yep.
running back.
I would definitely go with Derrick Henry personally for my choice, best running back overall, mainly because this man carried not only the ball, but he carried my fantasy football team to my first championship ever. Shout out to Derrick Henry.
Doing what the Cowboys can't, baby. Let's go.
I appreciate it.
I would say, like, dude, Derrick Henry deserves a ton of credit because the man's 31 years old and is still like neck and neck with it. We're talking Saquon is the best or like is talked about as the best. Derrick Henry's right there and he's 31. The consistency of his career has been truly like insane. Like he is one of the best running backs to play the game, and he hasn't joy to watch.
He hasn't lost a step either.
I interviewed this man, and he is one of the most. I've interviewed a lot of football players in my life. Derrick Henry is one of the most physically imposing specimens I have ever interviewed. I'm saying over Tebow. Derrick Henry makes Tebow look tiny. Because the man is huge. Only other person bigger than him who I've interviewed was with Tom, and that was Tyler Guyton, who is just a behemoth.
Yeah.
But wait, who's bigger, Myles Garrett or Derrick Henry?
I have not.
Myles Garrett is also
freakishly. But Derrick Henry, his head was like this. This man is huge. It's crazy. But we continue. Best edge, run defender, best edge. Who are we giving that to this year? Is it going to a TJ Watt?
Best defensive player? Ooh, I mean that's
edge rusher.
This is first of all, we got NFL admin in the chat. Mention Perna. There we go.
Hey, he woke up.
How's you using Perna? All right.
Hey,
all right. Wake up for the admin.
NFL, please send me your best computer guys. My TikTok has been hacked. I've been trying to fix it. NFL, you can help me. Help me, NFL.
I was gonna ask you how your system update was going. Because you seemed like you were just updating yourself and you were just having that blue screen. I'm like, okay, what's going on there?
I don't even know how to log out of this
best
stupid
edge,
account.
I mean, I got to go either Myles Garrett or Trey Hendrickson. I mean, Waddle has kind of had an year. Like he's still good, but like I would put it, either to Garrett or Hendrickson.
You stole my answer. Hendrickson, you take him off of that defense, which was already bad. That team is terrible. 17.5 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, 33 solo tackles. Hendrickson was everywhere. If you say that JJ Watt does anime stuff, Hendrickson was the entire defense, basically. He was the entire pass rush. I just can't even think of something. No one even comes to mind without even thinking of Trey Hendrickson first.
Obviously, the correct answer here is going to be Micah Parsons, and that's an unbiased answer.
Oh, boy.
You could see the impact Micah Parsons had.
I just muted him.
I feel like you and Micah share a same brain wavelength because you two are both so delusional. No, it wasn't like 5 plays that caused the Eagles to beat the Cowboys. Come on, man.
All I'm saying is, don't be surprised when the Cowboys are sitting in the playoffs and in the Super Bowl next season. You heard it here first.
Steelers have a better chance of making the Super Bowl, my man. Come on.
Yes. I'm not hating.
Go like 9-8.
Don't hate the player.
As a Giants fan, like Micah does have the potential to be a depoy at one, which is Defensive Player of the Year, at some point in his career, but just not this year.
He was just injured too much to get
he didn't play
where he needed to be.
Like
what I'm saying, his impact though, his impact was seen and not seen when he was gone. We move on though to the Offensive Player of the Year. Who are we giving Opoi to
Oh,
this
boy.
year.
Oh boy.
Oh,
boy.
boy.
I mean, got to be Saquon, right? Because I know MVP
like it
is
has
more
to
of a
be
quarterback award. I feel like it's got to be Saquon at that rate.
Yeah.
Here's
It's either
what I'm gonna
Saquon or
do.
Jamar Chase, right? Like
Jamar's another good option.
Jamar was
would be a
very
bad one.
good. If they had made the playoffs, like if Hendrickson and Jamar had just willed the Bengals to the playoffs, I mean, you got to give consideration to Burrow too. Like he had a
yeah,
Oh my
should we
God,
just
yeah.
give them all three the awards so that the
Here's what I'm
Bengals
gonna
feel better about this season? MVP Burrow, Offensive Player of the Year Chase, Defensive Player of the Year Hendrickson, and there's just a little tagline underneath that says, "Sorry, Cincinnati."
No, they
Here's
just be
your
happy
place.
firing Zach Taylor.
you lost
Be
to the
honest here.
Patriots in week 1.
Here's what I'm going to do,
that's what
because the
happened.
next category is best quarterback. Keep that in mind.
Ooh.
So, offensive player of the year, I'm going to go Lamar Jackson, offensive player of the year. You got the running and you got the passing. And then
Does he do
we'll go
both?
best quarterback. Okay, best quarterback. We can change that up and maybe go Josh Allen for best quarterback, or Joe Burrow, depending on your preference for quarterback.
You know, because Burrow is right. He was leading in yards. He was leading in touchdowns. Lamar had less interceptions than he did. But yeah, Joe Burrow, I don't even know what you give him. But like, sorry, I know this doesn't do anything, Joe, but hell of a season, man. Like it was so, he had a fantastic year. And I think if you don't have the QB play of the other two guys, like, you know, he's there as the MVP. But I think the thing with Joe Burrow, though, is like he does have the receivers. The O-line, not so much. They try to go get it with Mims and try to protect him, but his O-line is hot poo-poo.
His guards are terrible. I saw last week Cordell Volson is ass. He is terrible. He was getting blown off the ball repeatedly.
Yeah.
Do they?
You need a new right
We
guard.
can give Joe. We can give Joe Burrow the comeback player of the year.
No.
I just
J.K.
want to
Dobbins.
say something. Lamar,
mean, no?
like it's hard
J.K.
to
Dobbins
get
is comeback
fallen.
player of the year.
Over Joe Burrow?
Yes, J.K. Dobbins is like a 2 torn Achilles.
So are we basing this off the severity of the injury that
You
Well,
have
it's
to
not
be
just him. It would have been Sam
He had to be
Darnold.
injured
Burrow
now,
was
right?
injured,
That's the
but-
thing.
Yeah, you have to come back from something, and being a Jet is not considered.
It
coming
should be,
back
though.
from
That
something.
is.
Yeah.
It should be.
A
Yeah,
Jet
yeah.
and a Panther and a Nine.
Yeah.
I mean, it should be.
You
but I just-
survived
it's my
being a
J.K.
Jet.
Dobbins.
Yes, I
Do
just
they
want to say
do-
one thing.
Like, look,
Oh.
if DeMar Hamlin can't win the award after being dead for about 5 minutes over Joe Flacco, and his comeback was, playing for the Jets. I mean, that pretty much sets the standard.
Yeah, that's difficult.
I just want to say though, Lamar Jackson, 41 touchdowns and only 4 interceptions. It's hard to
Yep.
fall in love with stats, but 4
Yeah.
balls out of, a normal quarterback who's just throwing the ball and dropping back is going to throw 5 to 6 picks, some freak occurrence. Keeping those INTs down to 4 in a 17-game season, that is a ridiculous stat line. That is absurd. And he's just been really good. I just have to say.
I've said this before about Lamar, and there's a lot of reasons, like maybe people don't want him to be MVP, like he betrays you in the championship game unless the Chiefs go to the Super Bowl, could be one of those reasons. But the other thing is, like, he makes it look a little too easy.
It's
Like,
insane.
Lamar just makes some of his throws, they're really impressive, but he doesn't do enough to make you think they were impressive, if that makes sense. Outside of, like, at least last week he threw that touchdown and just like turned around 30 seconds before it was even a touchdown. Like, that was pretty badass.
You did
But
the
like,
Steph Curry, yeah.
you watch
that was Bryce
Lamar
Young.
and it's just like nothing ever looks that difficult. And I think
That's
why
what good
I like
athletes
Josh
do. It doesn't
Allen.
look that difficult.
What's that?
That's what good athletes do. They make the
Yeah.
stuff that seems impossible not difficult. Like Steph
No.
Curry, he's just shooting threes from like half court. Like, yeah, easy. See ya.
Yeah.
Done.
So when I went to Green Bay for training camp, it was a joint practice with Lamar, and just how fluid he is when he moves. Like the ease of it looks like he is moving faster than everybody else, and he's just it's so damn smooth, man. He is a remarkable player. Like, I know, like, all the jokes of like he's a running back, but man, he's a phenomenal football player. He really is.
Isn't it wild when you get up close to the athletes? How you're like, how is that dude the same species as me?
It's
Because
insane, dude.
I
He's
do
so
not
good.
move. Like I trip just getting out of bed, and
Yeah.
that's hard enough.
Yep.
You
When,
know,
when I did that
It
workout
is.
with Derek Wolf, that's how I felt the whole time.
Yeah.
you were like dying. You were like this guy, and the worst part is they're not even tired. They're just like, oh, you're tired. Like, why are you getting tired? You're like, because I'm.
So
not
they're
a
like, this is the
superhuman."
warm up. Now we got to do the actual workout.
Like, I think his wrists are bigger than my calves. Like,
We have a
Yeah.
couple more superlatives before we make our Super Bowl predictions here. Breakout player of the year. Who is the breakout player of the year going to?
Quinion Mitchell.
Ooh, I like that. Okay.
well,
I don't know if because he's not going to get anything else. I don't think. I feel like Bowers has to get
Bowers would
something,
be
man.
good.
Brock Bowers,
Brock-
man, on that god awful offense. Regardless who's throwing the ball, like he's catching everything. Like Brock Bowers had a phenomenal rookie year. He was really damn good.
Pro Football Focus gave that exact award to Zach Bond of the
Brian
Eagles.
Thomas would be
Yep,
a good one.
Brian Thomas
Vaughn would be
Jr.
a good
another
one too.
You could argue Sam Darnold for breakout player as
Bucky
well.
Irving.
I think.
I could see
Bucky Irvin was really good.
And Bucky, yeah, but in
Bucky
like
Irving.
Bucky Bowers, those are rookies too, right? So like,
Yeah, Quinion Marshall Mitchell is too.
yeah,
Yep,
that's
Mitchell,
like you're thrown in the
Regime.
rookie of the
Yeah,
year.
do we have rookie of the year too? Because
But
So that's
Yeah.
coming up next. So we'll start with offensive rookie of the year.
They're going
Bowers.
to give it to Daniels, I think.
Bowers
Like,
or
oh
Daniels.
yeah, Jaden's
no
gonna get it.
love for Malik Neighbors on an awful team. He had Drew Lock, Tommy DeVito, Daniel Jones, and Tim Boyle throwing him the
No.
ball, and Malik Neighbors still had 110 catches
It was
and 1,000
impressive.
yards.
It's very impressive.
Dude,
he was
Brock
good.
Bowers broke records, my man.
Brock
Neighbors-
Bowers looks like he has 3 ex-wives and 2 mortgages. He is not a rookie, okay? He has lost more hair than me somehow, and like I don't know why people are calling him a rookie. I think he's 38 years old. He looks like a cast member of 90210 that's pretending to be a high schooler. He is not, however old they say he is.
I don't disagree with Five, but I think he's a really good football player. So I think like he deserves some accolades there because that Raiders offense, I mean, dude, they're firing coaches, they're firing GMs. Like it is rough times in Vegas right now.
No rookie is beating Jaden Daniels, though. To
Yeah,
do
I think
what
they're
Yeah,
he
giving
that
it
was
to
what I'm
Daniels,
gonna
though.
say.
And he's
the
earned it. I want to be clear.
Commanders,
Mhm.
the Commanders understand. I do think they're going to be a one and done type team in the playoffs, but just for them to even get there, very impressive.
I'm going to disagree. I think the Commanders come in and do the Buccaneers
Did
dirty.
you watch
Like,
the
I think-
Cowboys Commanders game this past week?
It's the end of the year. They had a slot already lined up. I think the
They put in
Commanders
Marcus Mariota.
they
They
have
put Marcus
so much
Mariota
luck
against-
on their
Against,
side.
This
If
guy.
you looked at that game, they literally played their starters to get ready for the playoffs, and they did not look good whatsoever against a lot of non-starters against Dallas. So
What up,
that's why
JG?
I'm not that high for the
You know, bro.
Commanders going into that game.
All right,
against
so let's vote for we'll start there. Commanders, Buccaneers. Adam, you think Commanders are gonna win?
On
Yep.
defensive rookie of the year, right?
I'm saying
Yeah, we just-
Commanders because
just
they just
defensive rookie
have
of the
that
year is the
belief.
last-
Oh,
Defensive rookie of the year is the last one. And
It's
then
either
we'll-
Verse, Mitchell, or DeJean. I feel like you have to give it to one of those three.
Mitchell.
Cooper
it's
DeJean.
it's Mitchell over all of them. I would say he's been
Quintana
beasting.
Verse had a great year too.
Mhm.
He has been beasting. Quinyon Mitchell is my choice for that.
He's a monster.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, give it
Okay.
to the corners.
Hell yeah.
Corner.
All right. So who do we think's winning these games?
Ooh, kinky.
I've got the Commanders. So
One
You're
for
wild.
Commanders.
I got the
I'm
Buccaneers.
I'm thinking
Buck.
Buccaneers.
Bucks, and it's
Three
not
run-
going to be
all right.
close.
Commies don't have a run
Everyone's going
defense, and Bucky
Fine.
Irving's going to run all
That's
over 'em.
exactly what I
Right.
said, Trey. It's like because the secondary for the Buccaneers is not good,
Yeah,
but
it's
the
bad.
passing offense for the Commanders is not elite. And again, I think this could be a close game. I think this is one of the most intriguing games, but I got the Buccaneers winning because if they run the
Yeah, it's
ball,
gonna be
I mean,
close
no
at
Jonathan
all.
Allen destroyed their run defense.
I
That's
do
what
not think
happened.
it's going to be close at all. It's going to be Bucks big. Commanders played above their record right now. They are not as good as their record says.
hating.
I'm just telling you what
I
I've
get-
seen.
You
Yeah.
really are hating, man. You
I'm
really
telling
are
you what
hating.
I've seen with my eyes. They
Mhm.
played terrible against us.
Yeah,
past
you know
week.
what I see with my eyes? The Cowboys suck.
I agree
Y'all are
with
going to be right next to us.
what everyone says.
Well, guess what? You're still going to have Mike McCarthy as a coach.
Here's
Congratulations.
the thing.
But I think the Commanders are going to upset the Buccaneers.
Okay.
All right, 3-2, but it's a majority.
Yeah, but we'll go
All
with
right.
the Bucs there.
Go to the Steelers game next. Let's preview that since Tree wants to talk and chirp. Let's preview this.
Oh,
I got
even
the
I'm picking
Ravens big.
I'm picking the Ravens.
Ravens big.
Come on.
And then you're going to be next to me watching the playoffs, and all the Steelers would have done is get a worse draft pick than the Cowboys. You are in.
You had playoff ambitions. You were talking about a Super Bowl. The all-in push. Don't give me this, man. Come on. All in my
worst
ass.
position
Okay.
a team can be. You are in the worst position a team can be, and that's above average.
Oh, dude,
Average.
we're not changing. That's
That's
the problem. There's no
the
point in
Steelers.
getting angry over it.
So I'm
We
just
know
saying
it's going to be the same crap in 5 years because RD2 doesn't give a crap.
that's fair. As long as you know, that's all I'm saying.
Oh, yeah, I know. Dude, I've been saying the same stuff since like 17.
Okay.
I got the Ravens all day.
I got the
Easy.
Ravens, but I think it
Ravens easy.
it wouldn't be a huge upset for me. It's an AFC North divisional rivalry. These games sometimes it just don't make sense, and so I picked the Ravens to win. But I don't know if it's going to be a blowout. The last time that they played, Henry ran for over 160 yards. The first time they played, they held him to under 70. So if they can contain Derrick Henry, Zay Flowers is out for Saturday.
Yeah.
Steelers got a shot.
Well, Mark Andrews, I think, is going to go off. I don't know if they can cover him. That's my
Yeah, that's
Oh,
right. You know, that seems to be the strategy in the past years is make LeBron beat you with his arm, but I think this is the year that he puts it together.
It's different because, as I said, Derrick Henry. I mean, that's the ultimate equalizer.
Yeah.
All I
Yeah, they
know
may not
is
have to.
I met Zay Flowers'
It's-
cousin in a Cracker Barrel a couple of years ago.
Cracker
That's
Barrel,
all I know.
huh?
All right.
That's all I know.
Anybody
you,
want
were-
the Texans over the Chargers?
Absolutely not.
No,
I
I'm
think
taking
again
Chargers.
they could keep it close, but I think the Chargers are heavily in my opinion, they should be pretty favored in here. They're playing good football, and the Texans are they just didn't make
And
it.
if it's close, it's kind of like that's just the way the Chargers also have
Right.
played a lot of the year. But yeah, they're very solid. They're a sneaky team, I feel like, in the playoffs right now. All right, we'll save the best for last. So moving over to Packers Eagles.
Go Pack, go, baby.
Go Pack, go, baby.
Ooh,
Go
Two
Pack, go.
I'm
Either way,
very much rooting for the Packers.
I'm happy with either team losing, but I want the Eagles to lose more.
I will say, Scoots, you would actually be able to talk some smack because then the same exact thing that happened to you last year will have happened to the Eagles. I think it's going to be a tough game for the Packers to win. I'm, of course, going to pick the Packers because I never wouldn't.
Remember your training. You got this, Packers.
Run the
Believe
ball.
in yourself.
Matt LaFleur, can we not call jet sweeps on 4th and 3, please?
Please, Matthew. Come
Run
on
Josh
now.
Jacobs.
This
Let's
is
go.
important, Matthew. I'm sorry. Let's
It
go.
feels like the Packers
Yeah.
are playing their worst matchup in this game. It's like if Green Bay beats the Eagles, then even if they've got to play, the
They're going to
Lions or the
Detroit next.
Vikings or
Dude, I
whatever.
would feel better.
Yeah, those teams. So there's something to be said for just getting through this. And I'm working on a video right now. And I'm like, the Packers are kind of like the long shot team at this moment based on their seating and everything. But they're like the long shot team that can actually go the distance. That said, I still think the Eagles win this game.
Yeah.
And I'm banking that on just basically Saquon Barkley and Philly's improved defense. Saquon's been insane. I haven't seen a team really just be able to take him out of the game. So Green Bay is going to have to do that.
Yeah, Saquon and the Eagles, unfortunately, are going to win this game, and it's probably going to be ugly. Unfortunately,
I think the problem too is no Jair Alexander. Their corners they're in trouble.
Yeah.
I mean, I agree, Scooter. I agree, but I'm sorry. We just gotta be truthful.
Vikings,
Mike, you're right.
Rams.
This one would have been an easy one to call if the Vikings hadn't looked so bad against the Lions.
Yeah.
Like this one would have been really easy to call, but now it's kind of iffy. LA's a solid team.
Give me the
They're
Vikings.
not. Yeah, I'm gonna pick the Vikings. Don't get me wrong. Like this is Sam Darnold's redemption arc, a playoff win, and him dragging Daniel Jones to another playoff win, who was elevated to the actual roster. Like, oh, that would be such a nightmare for me if Darnold somehow gets knocked out and then Daniel Jones leads them to a
crazier
win.
that the Vikings even have to travel for this game.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's
that's just
what's
how it
crazy.
goes. I mean,
I think
usually
that's-
it
no,
just
that's how it
works
should
out
be.
like that. But I mean, that's just how things work. I know people are going to complain, but it's as I said, it's just how rare is it to have 2 14-win teams in a division?
Yep,
That's crazy.
Yep.
Yeah.
That is
NFC
crazy.
North supremacy.
But I
baby.
like the Vikings.
I picked
like
the
the
Vikings. The only thing that if they get after Sam Darnold and make him uncomfortable, so like this needs to be a big game for Verse, for the Rams, and then they have to throw the ball because the Vikings' weakness is their secondary. And if you got a healthy Cooper Kupp, you got a healthy Puka Nacua, like they could get it done. So I think Stafford's gonna have to ball out to beat the Vikings, and if they do, they got a shot. But I got Minnesota.
Bam. Okay.
And
I think the
last-
Vikings will win, and only because the Rams feel like a boring team to me, and I do not want to see a boring team move forward at this point.
That's fair.
It can be fun. They can go toe to toe with the Bills and beat them.
They can,
Yeah.
but they're.
Oh, you're
pretty
just
boring.
gonna pick the Broncos. You're just gonna pick them.
I'll give it to the Bills.
Hey,
Good.
hold on.
Okay.
I'm picking the Broncos to beat the Bills in this game.
What?
Listen,
Okay. Hot take.
every playoff has something weird happen. Okay, there's not just gonna be the favorite teams win.
You're
Give
just salty
me
because the
Bo
Cowboys
Nix.
lost to a 7 seed, man.
Give me Bo Nix magic. All right, I was down on this man. I still am overall. Okay, don't take this as anything for what it is. Something weird's gonna happen.
Mo picks, baby.
Give me
Mo
the
picks gonna
Broncos.
pick.
Something weird.
All right, got one. I'll rock with Scooter. I'll go Broncos. Can we give 3 for the Broncos? 3 for the Broncos. 3 for the Broncos.
Well, based on the stat that both Brandon and I retweeted, that Sean Payton is 30-12 against bald head coaches. And he just abuses bald people. Listen to the coaches he's beaten. Jim Caldwell, definitely bald. Dan Quinn, they considered, yes, Dan Quinn. Todd Bowles, Hugh Jackson, very bald. Marvin Lewis, quite bald. Ooh, he considers Mike Tomlin. Is Mike Tomlin bald?
I think he is
Bill
bald.
O'Brien
I think he's
is
become bald.
sus. Bill O'Brien is a sus bald because he's hanging on for the dignity.
This is
Matt
what people
Nagy
tune
definitely
into.
bald.
This is why. This is the hard
And
hitting.
Bruce Arians very bald. Bruce Arians is quite bald. So with that logic, I'm going to pick the Bills.
Okay.
That's fair.
Yeah, I'm going Bills. I think
Yeah,
again. I
I'm
think the
Bills.
Broncos would be the biggest upset of the week. I do.
I
Broncos are beating
can't.
the Bills.
I mean, it'd be hilarious, but I can't see it happening.
Listen, everyone wants
Okay.
to talk about the Cowboys and them being cursed and not winning. It's not the Cowboys. It's
Listen,
the Bills. It is
I'm just-
literally the Bills' postseason success. They are under an ancient and advanced curse. Give me the Broncos.
I'm just saying that first of all, the Vikings did get cursed by one Brandon Perna this week. So
Ooh.
keep that in mind.
did.
And 2, I think it would also be, sorry, Bills fans, if this were to happen and the Broncos beat the Bills, then get destroyed by the Chiefs, and the Chiefs go on to win the Super Bowl, and it's nobody's fault except Brandon Perna and his Broncos, that would be his own personal circle of hell. Repeat. It would be truly the worst timeline.
Yeah, it would.
It would.
The new.
Be like my another thing getting hacked right before this show too.
Yep.
You know, all my accounts would get hacked during the Super Bowl, and I wouldn't be able to make videos. I wouldn't be able to tweet the whole shebang.
Lock it down. Lock it
All
down.
right, should we pick the divisional then? Should we just take this to the
okay.
Super Bowl? See
Well,
if
I
we can
think
get it
that-
right.
Take it all the way to
Already
the
wrong.
Super
Now,
Bowl.
let's go
Why not?
Super Bowl. Why not?
I
All right,
think
the Chiefs
hardest
beat the
game
Chargers.
to pick here is Ravens Bills, but
No, it's not. Give me the Ravens.
No, it's not. Give me the Bills.
Give me
I
the
think
Ravens.
Ravens.
This is the
I
year.
think the Bills break their fans' hearts again. In some,
It's going to be Ravens, Chiefs, and Ravens are going all the way.
No, Chiefs are going to beat the Ravens.
Absolutely not.
I got
I've
the
seen it featured.
Bills.
It's the Ravens.
Got the Bills.
I think
baby.
Chiefs are going to pull out the BS again.
I legit think this is what's going to happen. Chargers upset the Chiefs.
Bro.
That's definitely not
Bills hold their ground at home. We got a Chargers-Bills Super Bowl.
That's
Oh
ugly.
my
Or sorry,
Or
championship.
AFC champ.
That's ugly.
Mhm.
But I'll
That's
take
what
it.
I think will happen, but I
Yeah.
won't.
That would
I
be
won't put that
that'd be
on you
ideal.
guys
Yes.
Until
I don't know if it's going to happen, unfortunately.
I just don't know. Bills versus I'm going to just take the Bills. That's we're
Yeah.
we need a tie break on this. Who's taking
Ravens.
Right?
Oh man. Hold on. That's oof. Hold on.
He's got to go to his notes.
I do, because I literally just spent all this time doing it. They got the 12th best rushing defense. Oh, 24. Oh boy.
Ravens.
I would, by the way, if these were the championship games, as football fans, we are blessed.
all 1 and 2 seeds, right?
I'm not that confident in it, but I go Bills. Oh, I'm not that confident in it though.
I think Ravens. I'd say Ravens.
2 Ravens, 3 Bills,
Yeah.
That's crazy.
and we
That's
get
crazy.
the Super Bowl I've been dreaming of.
I think honestly, I think the Chiefs end up winning.
I think the Chiefs would win.
It's gonna be Chiefs Eagles.
It's
wait,
gonna be
this is the Super Bowl we're getting, isn't it? Damn it.
Okay, yeah, we're getting the Super Bowl that makes life on it. And then the Chiefs are gonna win, and then Brandon has to get teabagged by Travis Kelce.
Oh, please no! I don't want to see this again.
I don't want to
Yeah.
see it either, but guess what?
Saquon
We have to.
Barkley,
The
high ankle
Eagles are
sprain.
losing to the Packers.
That's right, Scoots.
wish.
Oh God, never thought I'd
But
say
no.
that, but yes, let's go, Scoots.
I mean, Steelers have a better chance of going. Super Bowl
Script writer. Can you call in a favor?
I'm gonna
script writer?
do
see
some
the
magic.
Eagles.
Yeah, I don't know. This was my pick before the season. Chiefs, Lions, 2-1 seeds. We had were the Niners the 1 seed last year? No.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so we had 2 1 seeds last year.
Listen, the
If
Lions
there
are
is a
playing
God
the
of
best
Scooter,
football.
this is the Super Bowl we will get.
The Lions are playing the
Start
best
doing your
football,
prayer work
and it's,
now.
The only
It's
thing
better
here is-
than
I would not hate that Super Bowl. The only thing is, I still need them. The reason I want the Ravens to win the Super Bowl is because then I can still say the Bills haven't won a Super Bowl, the Lions haven't won a Super Bowl. It gives me deflection ammunition. If
I
you
get it.
understand.
Weird.
No,
Interesting.
I understand Scooter completely, because if the Lions wind up winning the Super Bowl, I can turn around and make fun of the Vikings being the only team in the division to not win a Super Bowl. So it works out.
What if the
Is it
Lions beat the
Go ahead.
Eagles and they hand the single worst playoff loss in NFL history to the Eagles? 70-0 final score. You gonna root for the Lions then?
No.
What?
The heck?
You'd rather the Eagles go to the Super Bowl than the Lions beat them 70-0.
74 to
I would
nothing
rather
be the
them
best.
lose to the Packers week 1.
That's right.
which
It's
is
not a
what
scenario.
is
It's not
happening.
happening.
We're not talking
Sorry.
about hypotheticals here. They're losing to the Packers week 1. I'm talking an absorbent amount of
Mhm.
trash.
Yeah,
I have it ready to go.
and I'm the
I
queen
have
of England.
737.
Look,
I'm feeling more nervous
I hate
about the game
Philadelphia
now that
too. I
Scooter
hope that
is-
City
I'm
vanishes off the map.
streaming the
But they're
game.
not beating the Eagles.
They're
I'm sorry.
beating the Eagles. I'm going to get back on here next week and say, I told you so. High five, Tom. Now I hope you guys lose. That's neither here nor there, though.
Isn't there
So,
some? Is it possible for the Vikings to square off with the Lions, and then the Chargers to square off with the Bills? We could get one team will.
So the Vikings Lions is
exercise
possible in the
the demon.
championship. Yeah, because if the Packers wind up beating the Eagles, they would go
Oh,
to
you need
Detroit.
that.
They'd go
Yes,
to
you
Detroit.
need that. Gotcha. Okay, so go Packers. Go
That's
Packers.
right, baby. Go Pack, go.
Okay.
1 week only.
Are we ready to wrap this up?
Oh, we've been ready. to wrap
Keep
this
in
up,
mind,
baby.
if you're just now joining, all donations are going to the victims of the wildfire in LA right
Like a
now
week, baby.
on everyone's stream. Just keep that in mind as we go to the countdown.
Yeah, buddy.
The final countdown.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I let you all rap last week, and now we back. 2019, 18, 17, 16, 15, 4. The Packers gonna win, gonna run up the score. Do I feel very confident? Well, maybe a little. But we're gonna be an animal and talk to Dr. Doolittle. Oh yeah. We win 95-0.
Doolittle reference.
We got $40 donated over here for the donation for the LA
We got a total of 155. Jordan Grace with 100. Ills the Idiotic and Envy Talent. Thank you all for donating and helping some people out. It's rough. Have you seen the pictures? It's awful.
It's bad.
Oh, it's
not
devastation, dude. Devastation.
Yeah. And this is right on top of LA. Not, I mean, wildfires are terrible, but like you're right on top of a major US city. It's bad.
Have you seen like the winds too in some of these videos?
80 mile per hour gusts.
Crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I was literally in therapy earlier today, and my therapist's son's house is gone. Like his whole neighborhood is just gone.
Jeez.
Yeah.
So,
I know a lot of people out there, and it sucks. I think too, like the thing like to keep in mind is for like people who don't like maybe don't directly lose like their house or something, it's affecting entire communities and businesses and affecting a whole, ecosystem of existence out there, and it's messed up. So appreciate everybody donating today to Direct Relief. We've done it before through them. $740 raised over here.
Yeah.
You guys are freaking awesome. It's one of the good things we do with this show sometimes.
Yep.
So appreciate it, guys.
The rare good things that we do.
I am. I did 250 myself, but we're over $1,000. So
Let's go.
Oh yeah,
Nice.
Tree. Let's go.
Nice.
Let's go. And Tom,
Thank you.
$2,370.
Ooh,
let's
God.
go. So we raised collectively what? Almost 4,000 or 5,000.
$4,500.
There's also, because I know, listen, folks, like there's a lot of great organizations out there, and I know sometimes it's very difficult to choose them. Direct Relief, we've raised money for them before. They're a really, really good organization. 0% goes to fundraising, and I think it was a little over they brought in like 2.3 billion and 2.1 went out to like around the world, but also in the United States. Like they're the hurricane relief folks. They do great work. I also put a link to the Pasadena Humane Society. I also submitted them to be selected by YouTube to be fundraised for. But they're doing great work too. They're inundated right now with injured animals. I know there's a lot of folks that are concerned about that too, but they have a perfect rating on Charity Navigator as well. So any of those organizations, you can't go wrong.
And with that being said, what do you guys have coming out on the channels?
I have the most cursed NFL stadiums of all time.
Very nice.
Okay.
See if your old stadium, if Jerry World's on there.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Perna?
Tomorrow we'll have how to pick your playoff bandwagon team. A video I did last year that I had no memory of doing. And somebody was like, "You gonna do that bandwagon video again?" I'm like, "Huh?"
And
like,
also my TikTok
idea. Let's do that again.
My TikTok got hacked! Exclamation!
Yeah, it'll just be me live streaming until somebody helps me get my account back tomorrow.
Great. Well, I'm doing NFL Playoff Haters Guide. Finish up writing on that. Should have that out Friday or Saturday.
There we go. We are still game planning to bring back Scooter Gaming. That is on the way, as well as the Magruder's videos are on the way. But I will be streaming my first hate stream, Packers versus Eagles. I will be live, watching and hoping.
I am also unfortunately streaming Steelers Ravens and
Oh, it's playoffs. I'm streaming every single one. So yeah,
playoffs.
Every single one.
Even the Houston Texans traditional invitational.
I think it's like the 5th year I've done this in every single one. So I mean, we're already doing all the primetime games, so whatever. And then the season reactions, I think are going to start tomorrow. I just need to figure out. I'm between two teams who I want to start with. So those are running too. I'll be streaming all weekend. There'll be reactions for everything. The content is going to be nonstop for the next 3 weeks.
Let's go.
Ain't that the truth?
And with that being said,
Thanks for watching.
we will see you next week for another glorious episode of Clickbait Sports.
Hopefully, we're all not eliminated.
Yes.
Hopefully.